Welcome to Roadmap, how to take 3 listings a week until you're ready for more. Each week we interview a great agent who is consistently taking 2, 3, 4 listings a week, and we have an exciting guest today. We encourage you to take notes and apply as much of their knowledge as quickly as you can, and then use the copycat principle. If you're watching on Vulcan7 or on the Lead Gen Network, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions during the broadcast. Get those in early. Let me introduce my co-host from San Diego, Carly Hathaway. That's carlyhathaway.com. Hi, Carly. How's the real estate business?
Hi, Ren. The real estate business is great, as always. You can't beat California. Definitely a seller's market, so it's a good time to be a listing agent.
Good. And you know, it's kind of fun. We do that routine every time. You know, people are going to latch into that carlyhathaway.com, and maybe you'll pick up a few referrals here and there.
Definitely. Send me referrals. Everyone wants to live in California, right?
Absolutely. Before I introduce Before I introduce our guest today, I want to remind everyone that we're also simulcasting the show on the private Lead Gen group on Facebook. They have 48,632 members. Let's get it up to 49,000. So we have a large audience there again today as well. We'll be pausing for a commercial message during the show as a thank you to the Lead Gen folks. So let's welcome our guest today from Little Rock, Arkansas. Give a warm welcome to Kerry Ellison. And you won't hear 2 of us applauding because there are 1,000 people watching, but you can't hear them.
Yeah, understand.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you, Carly. Thanks for having me. So yes, we love referrals in Little Rock. Send me referrals in Little Rock.
And what is the best way for them to reach you?
You know, the best way is to either friend us on Facebook, the Kerry Ellison team, or you can send us an email at the kerryellisonteam@gmail.com.
Okay. So, and it sounds like they can go to the kerryellisonteam.com as well.
Yes.
And learn a lot as well, because there are going to be people that are like, help, I have to quickly get this house sold, or help, I've got to quickly pick out something this week and get moved. I'm moving to Little Rock.
Or moving
out of Little Rock.
There you go.
Either one is fine, right? They can come.
That's right.
They can go.
That's right.
Good. Perfect. Well, good. So what's the goal for 2018, Kerry?
Well, our goal is to sell 200 homes this year.
That's a good goal. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And what did you do last year?
Last year we did north of 20 million.
Nice.
Our sales price isn't like California. The average sales price in our market's about 175,000.
I know. I was looking. You get some amazing value there, and you do a lot of luxury too, don't you?
Yes, we do. And luxury here is only $500,000 and up. I think that's first-time home buyer in California.
Yeah, it is. Hey, so much more house in Arkansas, I'm sure.
You get a castle for, north of 500,000. So.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's a beautiful place too.
Yep. Most people don't realize we're at the foot of the Ouachitas and the Ozarks, so we're actually very hilly. People come in and want a flat lot. There's no such thing,
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's got a lot of rock, a lot of hills, a lot of natural trails, a lot of hiking.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Kerry, let me ask you, you want to do 200 homes this year. What changes are you making from this year to last to make that possible?
Well, we are being more focused on lead generation. We're adding an extra hour. We're being more systematized with it. We are more focused on going on appointments that matter versus just going on an appointment to go on an appointment. So we're doing a lot of pre-qualifying also to make sure that, you can go out on an appointment and waste 3 hours, or you can sit in the office and make phone calls for 3 hours and pick up a real prospect. So that's one of our goals.
That's great. I mean, no one wants to waste time, right?
Right. Yeah.
Good.
So
it sounds like a lot of efficiency moves you're making.
Yeah, I think we looked at our numbers last year with our coach, Mitzi Jasnicki, and we sat down and reviewed our numbers to see what were we doing that other teams we're doing and how are they more efficient than we are. So what we realized is that, we're chasing our tail a lot. We're going on maybe not qualified lead appointments. We're just going on an appointment because they said, come see my house, as opposed to qualifying and make sure you're finding them motivated.
Mm-hmm.
So, working with that batting average of the number of appointments to the number of listings taken.
Yes.
What's the goal for this year as a percentage?
Our goal this year is to get upwards of 60%.
Okay.
I go on a lot of for sale by owner appointments.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we're not in the seller's market. We're actually a little bit more neutral here than we are in a seller's market.
Gotcha. Good for you, actually. They really need your services.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a pleasant problem.
Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting dynamic because they hear everything in the United States. Everybody's in a seller's market, and we're technically not. We're still sitting at about a 3-month inventory. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
yeah. And however, when we hit the spring market, a lot of our private sellers sell very quickly. So you'll call them, set an appointment, and they're sold by the time you get there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sort of.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's yeah.
There's the challenge there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this. Your majority of listing appointments are for sale by owners. What is the most difficult objection that you overcome? I'm guessing they want to save money and not pay commissions, right?
It seems like we get the appointments once we get there. They love to compare us to a discount broker. Why go with a full commission when they can go with somebody who's a one-time fee of $500 and then a buyer, the buyer agent fee.
Okay.
I think that's our most common objection we get.
Okay.
And how do you handle that?
Well, basically we just go to our list price versus sales price. And, we run an average of 99% list price to sales price with a market time of 16 days. Okay. Where our MLS is about 66 days and our list price to sales price is about 95%.
Mm-hmm.
So if you dig into the discount brokers, they run about 92 to 93%.
Okay.
Got a little more money then, huh?
Mm-hmm. So we go back to the net. We show them how much more money they're going to net by using us.
That's
Good.
great.
That's compelling.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So earlier you said that you are adding an extra hour of kind of lead generation, like building your business, getting more business. Can you kind of walk us through a typical day? What time you get on the phones, who you're calling first, how your day looks, and how with your team and all that good stuff?
Sure. Yeah, we usually get in the office at about 8:30. We do a little bit of script and role play, and we're usually on the phones by 9 o'clock. And we're all on automatic dialers. I have 2 buyers agents, and we are all on the telephones. So we start on automatic dials on Monday morning. Buyers agents do open house follow-up Monday morning and sign call follow-up. And then I start on the listing side. I'll go into any expired listings for sale by owners. And then after that, then I start into my follow-up. So usually that's our Monday morning calls.
Perfect.
And how long do you guys stay on the phones in the morning?
In theory or reality? No. The goal is always 3 hours. It usually ends up being closer to 2.
Mm-hmm. And do you have like a certain number of contacts you want to hit each day or each week, or how do you do that?
Yeah, we're 20 contacts a day minimum.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we run through the dials. A Tuesday, our buyers agents take off Tuesday and Wednesday, and they rotate. So when we all get back in together on Thursday, we start circle prospecting, just listed, just sold, and then we also start circle prospecting for our open houses.
Okay. Can you explain what circle prospecting means?
Sure. Well, with our just listed, we'll download 100 to 300 names of homes that are within a radius of half a mile of that house. And we download those phone numbers into an automatic dialer, and we actually just start cold calling them and letting them know that we have just listed a home in their neighborhood and that we are going to host an open house that Sunday. And we're inviting them to come join us.
Fantastic. Good. So you have so you're talking to a lot of people you don't know. What about the people you know? Your
Yes.
database. What's that look like, and what's the routines around that?
we have 4 different client parties a year. Last year we had 2. So to answer your question, also another way to increase our business is we're increasing our client parties. Mm-hmm. So this year we are adding 2 more client parties. We may add 3. And so we build all of our client calls, past client, network have met calls around our client parties. We will touch them 4 to 6 times for each client party.
Gotcha.
So go ahead.
What is your client party? Can you, what are you doing?
The first one we're going to do this year is going to be a movie premiere where so we're going to rent out a movie theater for 3:00 matinee on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. And we've rented out the whole theater. So we'll do that. They'll get a popcorn, they'll get a soda and a free movie ticket.
How fun. And they can bring the family and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So that's our first one. Our second client party is a night at the Travelers. We have a minor league baseball team here, and we rent out the outfield pavilion. So last year, I believe we had 175 people come. And this year, we're hoping for a better turnout. And so we bring them in, we provide food, tea, water, all of the above, door prizes.
How fun. I think that's a great way to stay connected to your sphere. Mm-hmm. It's more fun than just a typical phone call of what's happening in the area,
Yeah. Well, and then you can remember what they look like. I mean, I've been in the business for 24 years. There's clients I haven't seen in 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think that's a great strategy. Good for you.
Yeah, and we do one more event. Right now we do a photos with Santa. So the first weekend in December, we have a Santa Claus here at the office, and we always tie it to a food bank donation or the Humane Society for the animals. So,
that's great.
Yeah, we hire a professional photographer and bring in Santa Claus. And then, of course, we do prizes. Mm-hmm.
So the 3 events, and then you're calling them all the time. And do they get anything in the mail? Do they get anything in email, videos, any other way you touch them?
I'll tell you, the best thing we did last year is we did a survey, because you can't, I'm sure there's a lot of license laws out there. In the state of Arkansas, we actually called because we moved databases, and we called and did a survey, and we asked them 5 questions. And the last question was, who do you know that needs to buy or sell real estate in the next 6 months that we can call today? And we've got 1,300 people, give or take, in our database. And we reached about 250, on a phone call. And out of that, we picked up 96 referrals.
Wow, that's amazing.
So we also gave away a $2,500 travel voucher where somebody could go wherever they want, on a cruise, airline tickets, any of the above.
Love that. That's a great incentive.
Mm-hmm. I've got a question. So the survey was by phone and calling them, correct?
Correct.
And if I hear you correctly, 40%, 250 people you talked to gave you 96 referrals. That's
Yes.
40%. So my question is, what about the other 1,050, 1,050? How are you going to reach them to get, what would that be? Another 400?
I know.
Another 420 referrals. They've got 420 referrals. You just got to reach them. How are you going to do it?
Well,
do by mail?
Nope. They've got to talk to us face to face. We're going to offer it again. We're going to do it again. It was such a great success. For $2,500, it's a no-brainer. So we're going to do it at our client party, and then we're going to follow it up again in the fall. And
that is huge.
It was huge.
Oh, and it speaks volumes. Normally people don't offer up something unless they think your service is exemplary.
Yeah. So it was for us, it was a huge eye-opening experience on people and the funny thing was, some of these people were people we had talked to the week before, or friends of ours we had ran into 2 weeks before, never said a word. Yet when you ask those magic words, who do you know that needs to buy or sell that I can call? And it's amazing what response you get from that.
Yeah, and notice, folks, she doesn't say, do you know? She says, who do you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is a very different approach into the brain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we took the winners, we celebrated it. we did Facebook Live, we promoted it out. So we think this year we'll have a much better, people are going to want to take our calls.
96, wow, out of 250. Wow, you're very well thought of. That is awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
Great. Yeah.
That's well, and you recite a lot of facts and figures. So how are you tracking numbers? How do you have a system for that?
We do. Which numbers? Any specific numbers? Because we track a bunch.
Well, let's say contacts, leads, appointments, taking listings. So, I mean, you're tracking obviously a lot of data having to do with your database and fields from that. And
yes, my executive assistant Hannah, we've built out Google spreadsheets.
Perfect.
So the other thing we love about the Google spreadsheets is you've got the Google Forms where you can fill it out on the top and then you feed it in. So
perfect. That's all it takes, but it's the discipline of tracking numbers.
It is.
Looking at the numbers, because sometimes a lot of people don't want to look at the numbers.
No. I think a big, huge aha for me that if I could go back and redo last year, I wish I would have gone back and kept up with the 4 conversations better. How many listing appointments did I go on? How many listings did I take? How many do I have under contract, and how much GCI have we closed, or how many units? And when I started compiling those numbers, looking at them on a monthly basis, I'm like, well, crap, I didn't do that much. I need to, I got to get this many listings. I've got to hit my numbers.
Right.
And sometimes when you're in the grind of it on a daily basis, you don't ever stop to go, well, my goal is, 15 this month and I've only listed 7, So it really helps to have the numbers in front. Okay, I've listed 7 so far. I need to get 8 more. Where are they going to come from?
Right, and the fact that you mentioned this earlier in the conversation, pre-qualifying is going to really raise it up, because when you look at it, for many agents, not pre-qualifying very well is a form of call reluctance.
Yes,
because I got this appointment. Oh, they're going to list. Didn't ask them a whole lot of questions. You get out there, they throw you a curveball. You come back. Your batting average listing appointments to listings taken is low.
Yeah.
But you're engaged with people, you're in meetings. But if you just pre-qualified, thrown them in the trash, and spent another hour calling, batting average would have gone up, the total sales would have gone up. So, what you're helping people understand is that pre-qualifying really will dramatically improve sales.
Yeah. And asking them and not being afraid to ask the question. Are you interviewing other agents? Are you thinking about listing as a for sale by owner? How much money do you think your house is worth? How much do you want to net?
Yeah.
I know people will, we have to do that. We're a professional. If you go to a tax accountant, they're going to ask you for 2 years of returns. If you go to the doctor, they're going to ask you a series of questions. We have to ask those questions. And I don't get why people don't ask those questions sometimes.
At Family Reunion, we were just in Anaheim a few weeks ago for Keller Williams for Family Reunion. And I was in a class on questions with Pat Mancuso, and he's phenomenal. And he said, you always want them to rate it with the number. So you ask them a question, where do you think your house lies between 1 being it needs a lot of work and disrepair and 10 being perfect? And he said it is such an important, it's so important to have them rank it with a number. And he said it's a neurolinguistics thing. And he said it helps them anchor so much more. And that was a big aha for me, is that you always want them to put a number to it.
Well, and then the magic question behind that, how would you rate the condition of your home? Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. And then they give you, say it's a 7.
Yeah.
And then you say, what would make the 10?
Yes.
And then they list the things that need to be done. Which, that was the best invention I'd ever heard, because then when you go to the house, instead of them saying, well, what do you think we need to do to the house? And they're like, oh, they don't like my house. You say, well, you said you felt that you needed to replace the carpet and the paint. I agree with you. Took all that off the table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I feel like down the road, like within the listing appointment, it'll be easier to kind of like price it the way it should be priced and kind of overcome those overpriced objections and things like that.
Yeah. The other huge question we ask that I love is what are your 3 expectations of us as your realtor?
Great. Yeah. And what kind of, because, what kind of responses do you get from that? What are you hearing? What's common?
The hardest thing for me to do is sit there and shut up because I want to give them the answer and they really have to think about it. And it's the most common things I get are honesty,
okay,
feedback, and they want me to sell it.
And are you asking these questions before you get there or at the house?
Both.
Okay. So when you ask beforehand, it gives you an opportunity to weave whatever those 3 themes are into the presentation then, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it gives me an opportunity when I get there to repeat. So what I'm hearing you say is you want somebody to be honest with you. Can you tell me what that looks like to you? My perception of it is this. What is yours?
Good point. Good point. And it sounds like they feel heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do my.
Great. And how long typically is your listing appointment?
It's an hour.
I'm sorry, you broke up.
Oh, it takes about an hour.
Okay. All right. And do you send a pre-listing packet?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. All right. So you anything like that before going to the home?
I lost you. Say that again.
She's frozen.
She is frozen. Okay. It wasn't just me.
Something before. So I get you. So you're going over a lot of how you're going to market the home once you get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I do is I have a 10-point marketing program and we just review that. I hit that and I hit a few marketing statistics and we go into pricing.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, and you're calling.
Am I still frozen?
No. You're back.
Okay. So I have a question for you. So what's the percentage of your business past clients compared to new business from expired and FSBOs?
Past clients last year was just north of 60%. And we want to keep it we would like to get it up a little bit more. That's why we're doing more client parties. We'd like to get it up to about 65% from past clients and network have referrals. So the rest of the business filters in with sign calls, expired, FSBOs, networking groups, different things like that.
Okay. And what scripts do you use when you're calling expireds and FSBOs? Do you have?
I do. Well, my absolute favorite FSBO script is it's out of one of Jackie Kravitz. She does Dominate Your Market, and it's a Keller Williams script. And it's with a for-sale owner. It's just, ring, ring. Do you want to role play it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, I was calling about the house at 123 Main Street.
Yeah, do you have a buyer for me?
Hi, no, this is Kerry Ellison. I'm a real estate agent in the area, and I noticed you were selling your house and you were selling it privately. Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct. I'll be selling it. So if you want to bring a buyer, feel free.
Wonderful. Well, listen, the reason I was calling you today is my team and I have helped a lot of private sellers sell their homes, and I was just calling to see how things are working out for you.
It's good. It's good. I mean, I'm sure I will find the right buyer.
Oh, wonderful. So, Carly, when you do sell this home, where are you going to move to?
I'm moving to Colorado.
Oh, wonderful. So do you have a timeline in mind you need to be there?
I mean, ideally, I'd like to be there before the snow season ends. We're big.
Oh, wonderful. So, Carly, let me ask you a question. Is commission the main reason why you decided to sell your home on your own as opposed to using an agent?
It is. It is. I just feel like I can do the same job that any agent can. And I think you guys are overpaid, to be honest.
Oh, wow. I hear that a lot. If I could show you how we can actually net you more money, even after our commission is paid, is that something you'd be interested in looking at?
It is, but I don't see how that's possible.
I know, I'm sure. And if you thought it was possible, you would already hired an agent, handed it over, and you'd already had it sold, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say, though, is you want to net the most amount of money. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if I can show you how we can actually net you more money even after our commission is paid, is that something you'd be willing to look at?
Yes, it is.
Great. So why don't I come by today at 3 or tomorrow at 4? Which time works best?
Tomorrow at 4.
All right. I'll see you then.
Yeah, and then it's just a numbers game. Just keep calling, keep setting appointments, and go on and take 2 or 3 listings every week.
I like that script. It's direct and to the point. Great job.
It is. Yeah, I know that it works, and you can tell she's done it a lot.
Yeah, it was natural. It didn't feel like a script. It didn't feel like you were reading something. We're
rolling into Q&A, and as they always do, they don't type them in until later, and we get rolling. But Eric Eby,
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar to you?
That is. Yep. He's
one
a
of
great
your
guy.
fans. He says you're awesome, and he's referred you business in the past. And you always do a great job with his referrals. So
he's awesome.
Yeah. And Leslie Vargas wants to know some of your pre-qualifying questions.
Oh, so some of our pre-qualifying questions. If those of you that are Keller Williams agents, we use a lot of the bold scripts. So it's in the bold questionnaire. So our pre-qualifying questions are, how much do you want to sell your home for? What do you think your home is worth? Do you have a certain amount you have to net before you decide not to sell your home? What happens if your home doesn't sell?
Oh, that's a great one. There's a certain amount you have to net before you decide, where if I don't get a certain amount of money, then I don't want to sell. So you get that out on the table early.
Yeah. What are some trigger questions that makes you feel like, okay, this isn't a serious seller?
What happens if you can't net that amount of money for your home? Yeah. Then I don't have to go anywhere. It's all back to motivation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So getting stronger and stronger with that. Are there, as you said, you're doing more pre-qualifying this year.
Mm-hmm.
Are there people you weren't pre-qualifying, like somebody you know real well? Is that the one you skipped?
I did skip one. That was somebody I thought I was walking in and I thought it was a layup. And the other thing when you pre-qualify, when you walk in, if you're ready to list, you know what you're walking into. And so many people are afraid to make the phone call. What if they cancel? What if they do this? Oh, so it's better for you to get in your car, drive all the way out there, prep for the appointment. They don't answer the door.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Kerry, let me ask you this. You seem really dedicated, committed. You're on the phones every morning at 8:30. You're pre-qualifying. Mm-hmm. What's your motivation? What keeps you going? What's your why? Share with us.
Well, I was a single agent for a long time, and I would hear over and over again, lead generate, and it never sunk in what it was. And finally, I took a Keller Williams class, 90 listings in 90 days, and it hit me how to do this. And that's when I picked up auto dialers. That's when I got focused on what I was doing. So my motivation is to, in the next 3 years that I moved up to the 7th level, I'm able to pursue other things. And I grow my people around me. I've got a phenomenal team. I've got my 2 buyers agents, a listing manager, and an EA, and to grow them to a level where they never want to leave me.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. I like it. Maybe I'll move there and work with you.
Come with me.
Okay.
Question is, what do you say to somebody that says, I want to stay with the same agent? Well, how do you handle that?
I just ask them what the agent's going to do different this time than they did last. Are they going to do a different marketing? Are they going to price it different? What are they going to do differently?
Well, she tried harder, and it's not her fault. We shouldn't have started as high as we did in the price.
Oh, I understand. Except there were 16 homes in your market that sold the same time you were on the market. Why didn't one of those buyers pick your home?
Well, I don't know. We had a lot of traffic.
So how many showings did you have?
We had 9 showings.
9. Well, the National Association says you need 8 to 10 showings before you get an offer. Did you have any offers?
No, but we had somebody come back a second time.
Oh, and what was the feedback from that?
I don't know.
Well, there's your problem.
Okay.
That's why you need to hire us. We'll find out why the other buyers didn't buy and what they were looking for.
Okay. And then you close from there.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I like it.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Great.
So Little Rock, folks, somebody wants to move to Little Rock, and just like Eric, who is with Kerry several times, send your business there and do some business, and we'll have a little fun. I want to do a couple little thank yous. First, if you're watching on Vulcan7 and you want to get involved with the Lead Gen Facebook group, they are at facebook.com/groups/got objections. And I want to thank Aaron, who runs the group. He's a real giver. He has a program called expiredmasteryelite.com. And finally, if you're watching on Facebook and you're not yet involved with Vulcan7, make sure to sign up at vulcan7.com/leadgen for a special deal. And finally, most important, it's around lunchtime. You've been calling people all morning, expired for sale owners, your past clients' sphere of influence, inviting people to the party and the movie premiere and photos with Santa. You've done your job, and it's midday. Go to the freezer, get some delicious Grater's mint chocolate chip. You deserve it.
Yeah.
You deserve it. And have a great afternoon. You know, you can have a smile on your face after that. I appreciate you being here so much, Kerry. And can we ask you some of your secrets next fall? Have you back?
Absolutely.
We'd love to have you back. That'd be fun.
Thank you so much. I think, Kerry, it was a great interview. I think we all have a lot of good takeaways from it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Okay.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Good luck. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.